explore the enchanting ancient forests of Yakushami, Japan's eco-paradise. Editor's note: CNN's On the Road series brings you a greater insight into the customs and culture of Japan. On TV and online, CNN explores the places, the people, and the passions unique to this Asian nation. Watch the episodes during the week of December 9th and the special half-hour show on December 14th and 15th. CNN. Fans of anime master Hayao Miyazaki may remember the mystical, moss-covered forest that serves as the setting for much of Princess Mononoke, his epic about humans and the environment. That otherworldly backdrop was inspired by the very real forest of Yakushami on an Eden-like island in southern Japan. It is an eco-paradise of stunning landscapes, crystal clear waters, and diverse wildlife. The 195-square-mile island rises swiftly from sea level to a mountainous interior of mile-high peaks that can be snow-covered in winter, despite the subtropical climate. The granite bedrock is covered by cedar forests, some primary, others the result of reforestation. After Edo period logging, in summer its beaches serve as the largest nesting grounds in the region for loggerhead turtles. The surrounding waters are filled with flying fish, which figure prominently in local menus. Small white-tailed deer roam the island, and other curious creatures. The granite bedrock is covered by cedar forest, some primary, others the result of reforestation after Edo period logging. In summer, its beaches serve as the largest nesting grounds in the region for larger head turtles. The surrounding waters are filled with flying fish, which figure prominently in local menus. Small white-tailed deer roam the island, and another curious creature, Bjork, has said she enjoys hiking in Yakushima. Indigenous Yaku macaques sparrow along the road and fly through treetops. Together, the deer and monkeys outnumber the 13,000 permanent human residents. This unique ecology earned Yakushima a UNESCO World National Heritage Site designation in 1993. Since then, tourism has flourished. In 2012, about 215,000 people visited, according to Steve Bell, who, with Helen McNamara, runs YES Yakushima, the official English tourist website for the island. But the vast majority of visitors come to see one thing: an ancient cedar called Jomen Saki, estimated to be up to 7,200 years old. During the summer holiday and Golden Week, a series of public holidays in Japan at the beginning of May, up to 1,000 people make the 9-hour round trip on a given day, crowding the viewing platform that was erected to protect the tree and its environment. The upside, Most other sites and trails remain blissfully uncrowded. Life is quiet here. Most people live in the towns along the coastal road that circles the island, skirting past rocky shores and citrus groves. Myanmar is the largest settlement and the main port, followed by Ambo, whose river is a favorite kayaking spot. There's Onadia in the south, Curio and its rocky tide pools in the southwest, Nectar and the Sandy in Akahama Beach, beautiful but dangerous for swimmers, and Iso, which also has a beach. It's an early to bed, early to rise kind of place. Every morning at 7 a.m., an island-wide sound system wakes everyone up with classical music. It's time to eat your natto, grab a bento lunch, and hit the trails. A 40-minute drive inland and uphill from Ambo is Yakushiland, a cheesy name for a gorgeous set of paths set over 270 hectares that takes walkers through dense woods, past ancient cedar trees including Kenshinsugi, 3,000 years old, Adasugi, 2,500 years old, and Buddhasugi, 1,800 years old, said to resemble the enlightened one. Shirantani Yushiko is a similar park, though with more varied terrain, including the stretch of impossibly green forest that inspired Miyazaki. The furthest trail here leads up to Tokoa Rock, a climb that's rewarded with sweeping views over the valley below. Shiratani is the second most visited place, after Jomensuki, though far less crowded. The Shirantani Yusuki Trail is a great trail in late afternoon as the buses of tourists have left and the monkeys come down the mountain, says Steve Witham, author of Yakushima, a Yakumonkey guide and the blog Yakumonkey. You'll pretty much have the trail and monkeys to yourself. It's similar at Yakushiland. The later in the day you go, the more personal the experience becomes. A system of no-frills mountain has dusted the island for more ambitious hikers interested in overnight treks. But there are shorter routes too, and suitable to almost all ability levels. Witham's book can direct hikers on a 6-hour trip on the Yokodowa Trail, a varied walk through lush forest, one rushing streams, up to Han no Eigo, the most southerly high-altitude marsh in Japan. Look for frogs. A final series of scrambles leads to Karumidek, a 1,831-meter peak with panoramic views. The sound of water is never far away. Yakushima is the wettest place in Japan, a fact best appreciated at the foot of one of the many waterfalls. The Oko no Taki will inspire quiet meditation in onlookers, while the Sanprio Taki impressed with its scale as it cascades along a huge slab of granite. After all this physical exertion, a soak on one of the many onsen on the island will hit the spot. Bell likes the indoor spa at Onoedia. It's full of locals, he says. We then prefers the outer spot at Udomari. There is a smaller bath further along the path and obscured by the rocks, and here you can soak while listening to the waves lapping the shore and watching the stars. At 9 p.m., the music plays again. It's time for bed. Most of the lodgings on Yakushima are minshuku, small inns or cottages, where meals are usually included. Hearty breakfast of fish, rice, pickles, miso soup, and natto are the norm. Near Ononedia, at the foot of Makuno Lake, Shiki Yado has a set of spacious cottage accommodations with private baths, delicious local food, some from their own garden, and some large but friendly spiders. Just outside of Miyanoura, the rooms at Lodge Yadake Sanso have small decks looking onto the surrounding forest. Baths and toilets are shared. It's rustic, peaceful, and the food is fantastic. It's possible to navigate Yakushima via public bus, but a rental car will make life much easier. National brands like Nissan have offices here, but the local companies are cheaper. YES Yakushima has listings and a free booking service. Yakushima is enjoyable year-round, but you need snow gear to hike during the winter months, even though temperature at sea level remain relatively mild. Summers are warm and humid. Typhoons can be an issue. It rains year-round, but autumn is a bit drier. The island is busy during Golden Week, end of April, beginning of May, and the August summer holiday. YES Yakushima can help with rental car bookings, lodging, and can arrange guided hikes. Yakushima, a Yaku Monkey Guide, contains detailed descriptions about trails and other useful information. It's available through yakumoney.com. Are there too many German Christmas markets? Germany's most successful recent export may be not a sleek now luxury salon car or top-of-the-line dishwasher, but something more down-to-earth, the Christmas market. German themed markets have steamed through Europe and beyond, leaving in their wake the debris of abandoned likeness traditions, and the lingering scent of gingerbread and mulled wine. In Britain, clusters of alpine-ish huts selling wooden toys, wares and worn booths have become regular fixtures in London and other cities from Birmingham to Belfast. 4-week nuts. Read the glass scroll on a gingerbread morsel from one of the market's websites, nary a sign of the more location-specific Merry Christmas. Britain's tabloid newspapers would surely be scrambling for poems rhyming with Hans if only half their readers didn't no doubt love this change from their standard Christmas fare. Whereas previously a typical British festive season meant a department store splurge, a quick squeeze on Santa's knee, and a bout of indignation. Now you can be transported to a sweet-smelling seasonal wonderland after only a short dive down to the town square. A plague. In French, which normally celebrates Christmas in a downplayed, sophisticated sort of way, a Christmas market has bivouacked in the very center of the capital, on the Champs Elysees. Yuck! Twist the commentator on all things French pariah of the tinsel draped emplacements. The plague of pseudo Christmas markets is spreading all over Europe. In the United States, Thanksgiving had better watch out as Christkind markets pop up everywhere from Denver to Tumble, Texas, via Chicago. For Americans, it may soon be not so much a matter of brushing up on a way in a manger as layering old tank bomb from scratch. Christmas Market World Tour. For the Christmas market-loving tourist, a world tour beckons. Implicit in the spread of the phenomena is the idea that Germany does Christmas with purest authenticity. Yet, according to the British newspaper The Guardian, there may be something rotten in the state of the German Christmas market itself. Travelers to the country expecting to find a sizzling essence of Christmas there may be disappointed. Traditionalists have accused Germans more than 3,700 Christmas markets of descending into funfairs. The quaint handmade wooden stars and angels on sale as gifts they charge are increasingly mass-produced in Asia. Surgery snacks are said to be aging out more wholesome seasonal staples. Mulled wine styles prefer to play techno rather than Christmas carols. The critics charge, while the shrieks from funfair rides threaten to drown out the market's usual metal hubbub. And finally, the markets are shamefully opening earlier every year to cram in yet more shopping. In its very bubble-bedecked heart, the Christmas market, as refugee from crass modern commercialism, appears to be falling victim to crass modern commercialism. Stuff your face stalls shut. Fearing the total dissipation of the Christmas spirit, the market defenders are fighting back. Monage is forcing forbidden stuff your face stalls out and upping the percentage of vendors selling Christmassy toys. Mulled wine vendors are being made to sign contracts stating they only play approximately festive music. In Frankfurt, comedian Oliver Maria Schmidt, sick of Germany's beautiful cities being dressed up with uniform wooden huts and wine hatters being given an excuse to get pissed on surgery plunk, wants to turn the city into the first Christmas market-free zone. For their part, the market organizers report how hard it is to find people willing to stuff stalls through the bitter cold night, proffering only attractive wooden objects that people love to look at but hardly ever buy. Some smaller German markets are even paying artisans to stand around looking traditional. The Guardian reports, the stage seems set for a German seasonal set to, but could the controversy spread to Christmas markets loving countries beyond? Bruce Lee's iconic jumpsuit goes under the hammer. Hong Kong, CNN. A yellow jumpsuit worn by martial arts legend Bruce Lee in one of his final fight scenes goes on sale in Hong Kong on Thursday. Lee commissioned the famous outfit, which features black stripes, for the movie Game of Thrones. It's one of only 2 jumpsuits worn by Lee during filming, and has inspired tributes in popular culture ranging from Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill to the ninth video game in the Grand Theft Auto series. The jumpsuit is one of 14 items in a collection of the actor's personal belongings and props expected to fetch at least 1 million HK dollars, Hong Kong dollars, 129,000 US dollars at the auction. The sale marks the first time these pieces have been offered in Hong Kong, according to Anna Lee, vice chairperson of Spring Auction House, which is selling the items on behalf of an unnamed collector in the U.S. film industry. Uden Nakukaku, also known as nunchucks, and a green bamboo whip used in the central fighting sequence in Game of Death are expected to fetch around 250,000 HK dollars and 75,000 HK dollars respectively. All the lots come with a certificate of authenticity signed by members of Bruce Lee's family and friends, who inherited the items in 1973 after Lee's sudden death at the age of 32. Lee gave more pieces to his former students, Taki Kimura, and to George Lee, a close friend who made many of the actors' fighting props. A jade pendant featuring two obscene dragons in white and yellow gold came from his brother Robert. Bruce Lee designed and ordered the piece from one of Hong Kong's oldest jewelers just months before his death. He didn't get to see it because he passed away, Spence Lee said. After the Kung Fu star's death, his brother went to the jeweler, Chow Sen, and paid for the piece, taking it into his possession. While Lee is known as one of the world's greatest martial arts practitioners, he had many artistic talents including drawing, poetry, and cha-cha dancing. Two hand-drawn pieces are part of the Hong Kong sale, including a sketch of Chinese master monk believed to be a conceptual character for the Green Bamboo Warrior, a movie project Lee was working on at the time of his death. Spink expects the work to fetch between 20,000 HK dollars and $30,000. The other is an illustration of his teachings on water's flexible nature as an underlying principle of his martial arts philosophy, Jeet Kune Do. Signed copies of Carrot's training book and a commemorative brochure, as well as a pair of Lee's Kung Fu shoes are up for auction. Bruce Lee is such an icon in Hong Kong. He personally kind of started this kung fu frenzy in the world way before Jackie Chan, said Lee as Spink. Although he was born in the United States, his roots were definitely in Hong Kong. He loved to write poems. He loved to draw. He was so cultural. Apart from being a kung fu star, he is definitely a legend, she said. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco in 1940, but spent most of his childhood in Hong Kong after his parents returned to their hometown while Lee was an infant. He died after suffering an allergic reaction to pain medication in July 1973, while filming of Game of Death was still underway. A version of the film was released 5 years later. The Spin auction is one of a series of events being held this year to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the star's death. Grand Canyon filled with river of clouds. CNN. Park rangers can wait years to see a weather event like the one that occurred last week at Grand Canyon National Park. CNN meteorologist Brendan Miller said cold fog trapped in the canyon by a lead of warm air produced what's known as an inversion. The result looked something like a river of clouds flowing through the canyon, obscuring views of the canyon's depth. While inversions themselves are not rare, Miller said what made this event unique was the sunny skies that accentuated the layers of air normally, he said. Inversions lead to a murky view such as one might see when driving through heavy fog. Snow had fallen in the area beforehand and was beginning to melt, said CNN meteorologist Chad Mears. The melting snow created a cold layer near the surface. Think of opening your freezer and watching the cold air fog falling to the floor. This cold air, because it is heavier than warm air, sunk into the canyon and created the fog. Over Thanksgiving weekend, park officials say 2 inversions occurred, one on Friday, the second on Sunday. The inversion lasts until air temperatures are warm enough to allow the fog to dissipate, Miller said. Officials at the park posted some stunning photos to Facebook and Instagram of the weather events, which received thousands of views and comments. I was there, posted Tim Zacko on the Facebook page. First trip to the canyon, unbelievable. What is the most beautiful weather event you've witnessed? To see more of the photos, visit the Grand Canyon National Park Facebook page. Grand Canyon National Park, much better than Black Friday. Here's what Mather Point looked like this morning, with the rare inversion. Much better than Black Friday. Here's what Mather Point looked like this morning with a rare inversion. Rangers wait for years to see it. Word spread like wildfire, and most ran to the rim to photograph it. What a fantastic treat for all. The canyon gave us a second rare inversion in 3 days. Freezing fog dominated yesterday and is reflected in great patterns on this Kaibab limestone. By the end of the day, the sun was able to burn it all away, no doubt making many first-time visitors very happy. What will tomorrow bring? A really cool cloud waterfall. Officials at the park posted some stunning photos to Facebook and Instagram of the weather events, which received thousands of views and comments. I was there, posted Tim Zacko on the Facebook page. First trip to the canyon. Unbelievable. What is the most beautiful weather event you've witnessed?